together. The morale sucked when I got there because the former guy was sort of like he was just a real hard dude. So I gathered together a lot of recreational equipment. We had a lot of extra room in our billet. I made one of the rooms into a rec hall, and we had pool tables and ping pong tables, and we had tournaments, and those were all after hours. But the guys really got into it, so it was good for morale, and frankly, it was fun for everybody, including me.
Where did you live?
I lived downtown Newport, off base, and used my living allowance, which if you didn't live in the BOQ, they gave you towards rent. And 3 of us junior officers rented what had been a mansion, converted into 3 apartments. We had the top floor. We each had our own bedroom. We had a huge kitchen, 2 living rooms, awesome view of Newport Bay. It was not exactly tough duty.
What kind of car did you have?
Very impractical car for the winter in Newport. Boy, was it fun in the spring, summer, and fall. I had an Austin Healey Roadster.
Was that one of the most fun times of your life?
Yeah, it really was. I had basically, on paper, I had a lot of responsibility, but I had no real responsibility. I was old enough to not do too many stupid things, and wise enough to save money for grad school and things like that, but still young enough to have a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky to, I have a couple friends from that to this day.
Really? Who are they?
Well, we don't stay in touch regularly, but like I always think that I could pick up the phone and call Gene Mattias any day. In fact, we stayed in touch, if you remember, the first 5 to 6 years.
I know. Then you got in a big argument about cats.
Yes. I'd forgotten that.
Just funny. Okay, so you stayed there. So you were there for what, 2 years?
2 years.
2 years. And then, do you like the East Coast? I mean, was it?
I loved it. I didn't have the feeling of being a transplanted Californian or anything. They don't get that much bad weather in Newport, Rhode Island. It's moderate because of the ocean. And we got snow once in a while.
So you actually have seen 2 presidents, I think, in person.
Yes.
One we saw together, JFK, and the other was?
Eisenhower.
Tell us about that.
Boy, you have a great memory. When I was in Rhode Island, allied duty, and there were 7 of us who had the duty, who were already assigned to the base, was being port control officer. And so basically you were in charge of the port it was weekends always. And you just rotated. So every 4 weeks or so I'd get the duty. And in those days there was a presidential yacht, and Eisenhower was aboard it, and they all named it after someone in their family. In his case, it was named the Barbary Ann. You can look it up, tradition. And that was one of his granddaughters. And a top secret message came, and that was another one of your responsibilities because you were cleared for top secret in the job. For him, I don't know what it was because I wasn't allowed to open it, just had to carry it. And then I carried it over to the Barbary Ann. And I started to give it to the officer of the day on the boat. He was another naval officer. In fact, I knew him. He said, "Hey, this is a chance for you to see the president. I want you to deliver it to him personally." It was in the summer, obviously, because he was there on vacation. I was in my summer whites, and I was not watching where I was going because I was looking to see a glance if I could actually see the back of his bald head. Sure enough, just about the time I saw him, I slipped and fell. And there was even though it was a very clear, clean ship, as you can imagine, I happened to pick a dirty spot. And so I was kind of leery about seeing former General Eisenhower with a dirty uniform on, but I masked it in such a way, and he never commented about it if he noticed it. So the extent of our dialogue was, especially for you, Mr. President, and he took and thanked me, and I saluted him, and I left.
Did you have to salute him when you first saw him, too?
Yes.
Okay. So that was you were only there just a couple of minutes?
Yes, but I got to meet and talk to, albeit one sentence, the president. Didn't even occur to me to get his autograph or anything like that. And then ironically, that was in Newport, Rhode Island, ironically, you and I had just been married a couple of years. We were on vacation back east, and you and I together, you noticed it, driving around in Newport, Rhode Island. We were on the way to Maine. Saw Jackie and Jack Kennedy and another couple uh, swimming. We didn't see them swimming. We saw them leaving the private beach that they would go to in Newport.
Bailey's Beach?
Bailey's Beach, good memory again. And they came out of there, and you spotted the Secret Service guy because it was, I think, because it was a hot summer day and he had to sit on by the gate to Bailey Beach, and thought something was up. And we both knew from reading the paper or whatever that he was in town. So you encouraged us to stop, and sure enough, we waited and saw them drive out. And something like this never would have happened, but the president was driving his own convertible. Jackie was sitting in the seat with him, and the other couple was in the back seat.
Yeah. Was that a big thrill?
Big thrill.
And then how much?
Well, especially big thrill in that this was in, as I recall, July or August. It was sometime in the summer.
September, I think.
Was it September?
Yeah.
And the following November, he was assassinated.
Yeah. They were good looking, weren't they? I mean,
Very
they were
good.
I thought they were better looking than they seemed than you in the pictures. So, okay, so
Very
then,
handsome couple.
all right, so that now you're out of the service, and what happens?
I came back to California, went to grad school, started grad school at Claremont Grad School, and which I never dreamed that I could get into. It's amazing, and there's a moral here for whoever's watching, especially younger kids. Dream big, you might realize them. It's a very tough school to get into, and I was very lucky to have very good professors there. And you and I got married we were engaged my last year or so in the Navy, and your first year or so in teaching. And we got married that July, after I got out of the Navy in February.
And then you taught in there somewhere.
Yes, I taught summer school, it was teacher training, and my little brother happened to be in the class because he was between his sophomore and junior year, and he was taking American History Advanced, meaning college prep kind. And I was assigned to his teacher as my master teacher at your and my alma mater, and my little brother's alma mater, Pomona High. In fact, a number of people in our family's alma mater, Pomona High. So I taught that summer under Bill Selke, a fabulous teacher, and it was, again, another lucky circumstance. And then I ended up getting a job teaching in high school.
So where did you teach?
Chino High School.
For how long?
5 years.
You taught there for 5 years? I didn't know
Yes.
that. They gave
And you were teaching in various elementary schools in Pomona at that time.
They gave you. I remember they gave you that you coached something too.
I coached swimming, and believe it or not, they begged me to do it, so I did it for one season. I was the assistant ends coach for the football team. I didn't do much except carry around water bottles. And then I also announced football games. So all of these were perks that you could earn a few extra bucks doing. But I loved coaching swimming. And I had a lot of the same kids in my history classes.
Yeah. Tell me about the day that that Kennedy was. I think it was Kennedy that was
Yes.
assassinated, and who told you?
Isn't it amazing that something like that, your memory is, what the thing you really remember. I don't remember a lot of really pointed things about that day other than what an eerie feeling it was. But when I first heard, one of my not very academic students was Roxanne Rackley. And Roxanne always had her little transistor radio peeled to her ear. And after a couple of days of this in class and me taking it from her, I told her the next time that I took it from her was the last time she'd see it. And because she tried to sneak it behind her beehive hairdo. And so I was walking between classes in the morning. My memory is about 10 o'clock our time or so. And Roxanne came up bawling, tears just gushing down her cheek. And she held up her little transistor radio, which was big cat's meow in those days, and said, I heard on this. And then she hugged me and told me the president had been shot. And he was in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, do you think the kids was it pretty sad around there, or just business as usual?
Very sad. They sent the kids home early, which was a wise move. And I'm sure you had the same memory at the same time. It was the eeriest feeling driving home. It was about a 5-mile, maybe 10-minute drive to where we lived in Pomona. And it was just eerie. It was so quiet. Everyone was driving much below the speed limit.
Yeah, it was bad. It was awful. And then 3 days of just watching it.
Yes.
So I want to loop back to your high school career for just 1 second. Who was your favorite teacher?
Our English teacher, her name when I had her was Jeppesen. Ada Jeppesen. Phenomenal teacher. Really inspiring and made you work your buns off. But boy, did you learn a lot from her, including a lot of in-depth stuff about Shakespeare that was on a level with what I learned a couple of years later when I took it at college at UCLA.
So, and you weren't the kind of guy that fought a lot, right? But you had one major fight. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
You mean physical fight?
Yeah. Both you and Denny, I think.
Yes, we got jumped.
Yeah. By whom?
Dick Weiss
Why?
and Jack, I can't remember Jack's last name.
Bluthman?
Bluthman, yes. Jim's little brother, right? Well, I dated and took to a dance Dick Weiss's girlfriend. And he did.
What was her name?
Mary Teal.
Right.
God, what a memory you have. And I said, poor Dennis, guilt by association if there ever was it. We're walking home from someplace and this Dick Weiss's car pulls up and they jump out of the car and come over and start beating the crap out of both of us. I must say, Dennis did better against Jack than I ever did against Dick. And he left me, my last memory was hanging from the first top part of a chain link fence.
Who saved you? Do you even remember who saved you?
No. I should, but
Okay, so what would if you were going to think back about what is your biggest regret in life?
gosh, that's a big
You don't
question.
actually have to answer that.
Okay. I don't mean this to be sad. It isn't sad.
It's not written in stone, it's just on video.
Okay.
Forever.
My biggest regret in life is that I didn't remain a teacher.
Wow. Yeah. Is that
Best job I ever had.
It is the best job, isn't it? And what's the biggest thing other than marrying me and having children and and having grandchildren and all that? What is the best thing that you could? The best thing about your life, the thing that you are happiest about.
Well, after good friends, and I've been blessed in that regard too. I had a lot of good friends, some of whom I still have from high school days. I'd have to say, learning a lot from great teachers. I really think I was blessed with being in the right place at the right time to get a really good education. And it does make your life a lot more pleasant when you know more.
Yeah, it does. So, what is the most fun thing that you do right now?
That's a difficult question to answer. Exercise, I really think. Be it walking the dog or playing tennis when I do it more actively, or going to the gym or whatever. And being relevant, just trying to stay in touch with what's going on in the world.
Okay, and what's the thing that you dread the most? Oh, never mind. Don't even answer that. That's not good. That's not good. So you mentioned the dog. Maybe we'd like to see the dog right now. Hey, Buster, come here.
Here, dog. Here, Buster. Buster. Buster, where are you?
He's very slowly coming down the stairs.
Come on, Buster.
Call him, Bruce.
Come here. Come on. He minds well, as you can hear.
Yes.
Come
Lie to him.
Come,
Tell
Bruce.
him you're going to go for a walk.
here. Come on here. You were sound asleep, weren't you? Come here. The camera. You love the camera.
Okay, all right, I need to know, you're famous for your car. You're not famous for how many dogs you've had, but you're famous for your cars. Name your cars. How many cars have we had?
In our married life, something between 40 and 50 cars. Isn't
So,
that ludicrous?
yeah, so name your, 5 favorites.
Your white your second white Beamer,